Hey, what's up, audience? It's Drone Thrust, and there's a lot of news, in the drone world. None of it is good for, you know, American drone pilots. We're not going to be able to use our. Droney. Oh, God, I don't want to activate. I don't want this to start. All right, let me. I want to deactivate this drone so it doesn't. Circle. Aircraft will power off in 5 seconds. Press any button on aircraft to cancel. We're not going to be able to fly DJI drones anymore. I mean, I think that is really bad news for, small content creators and website owners like me. Yes, Donald Trump has authorized Congress's DJI drone ban. DJI was supposed to receive an audit from Congress to determine if this type of drone is really a Chinese spy craft. The Congress did not give DJI a hearing at all. And now we can't purchase any new DJI drones. I am devastated by this news. I think it also means that I can't have things like this DJI mic. I'm not allowed to. Yes, Congress is worried that DJI is using this mic to spy on me. They're concerned that DJI is using this mic and this drone to conduct intelligence gathering in the United States. The MAGA people have successfully banned United States citizens from importing DJI drones into America. Now, if you want to fly a DJI drone, I would suggest buying the available ones now. Supposedly, you could fly any DJI drone that is already in the United States. I think that is how the legality of the ban works. I'm not sure if you are allowed to import DJI drones from Canada and fly them here if they're new. I believe that the way the DJI drone ban works is that DJI isn't allowed to sell any new drones, in America. So unfortunately, we're not going to get the Avata 3, the Mavic 4, and the successor to, one of my favorite DJI products. I really enjoy using, this to generate content. I don't think that, I'm ever going to be able to use. I don't think I'm going to be able to purchase a successor product to this because Trump wants people to purchase cameras that are made in America. Now, the reason why photography equipment, like this is going to increase in value, increase in cost for small-time content producers like me is that if you make a drone, in America, it will cost, instead of $700, it's going to cost more like $2,000. The problem is that, American drones won't have the same capabilities of DJI. They're not going to have cameras and sensors that are as good. Their remote controllers aren't going to be as good. They're not going to have uh, they won't have good flying range, and they're not going to be as safe. Now, if you want to run a drone business, it's often a requirement that you purchase drone insurance. One thing I guarantee you is that, because of labor costs in the United States, the drone companies will, produce drones that are not safe, and you will be more likely to get sued in the event that your drone flies off somewhere. Yes, one potential safety consequence of, forcing Americans to purchase drones that are made in America is that they won't have the same technological edge that DJI has. American drone companies will probably purchase patents from DJI via licensing. I predict that that is how uh, I predict that that is how the drone industry will come to operate in America. It seems to me like it has always been the design of the Trump administration to stimulate factory building in America. One way Trump can do this is ban DJI drones and force uh, manufacturers to build things like this in America. The reason why I'm skeptical of, the reason why that worries me is that it increases the cost of operating a drone channel. Instead of spending $700 for, yes, yes. So instead of spending $700 for a flying camera, I'm going to spend maybe like 2,500. And as I say, I don't think that the drone will, because it's going to be made in America, where labor costs often, destroy product quality. You're going to find that the American-made drones are not nearly as, you know, safe as their Chinese counterfeits, and therefore, the American drone pilots are going to, get sued a lot. I'm also furious that the Trump administration, seems to be banning all DJI photo equipment from coming into the United States. I mean, I guess it makes sense if China could use a drone to spy on the United States, they could also use this for spying. I suppose it's possible that all apps that you download on the phone from China can be used to spy on you. I don't trust the Chinese Communist Party. In fact, I think that they're a bunch of evil murderers. I mean, I'm not saying that Z and his Russian puppet Putin are nice people. China is guilty of many egregious human rights abuses, but America has to be careful when coming up with solutions as to how to deal with China. I don't believe that a solution that I don't think the best solution to dealing with the Chinese, military establishment is to ban me or anybody from purchasing a DJI drone. I perhaps American drone companies will learn how to, produce cheap drones, for American consumers in, 20 years, but we're not at that point yet. It is now going to cost. Yeah, I mean, I think DJI does support the Communist Party of China. I agree. I mean, if you were to ask me about my opinion about whether or not the DJI drones and apps are used to spy on Americans. The key issue is data exfiltration. The Pentagon believes that these drones and apps said that they think that they surreptitiously send data about America to China. They believe that this data that China gathers on our civilian infrastructure can be used against us in any future military campaign with China. Like they correctly believe that China will invade Taiwan just as Russia invaded Ukraine. I definitely think that that's coming, unfortunately. Um, I understand that there is risk that in the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, that China can use these drones against us. I just do not believe that the drones should be banned, because if the Chinese government is using these drones as a means of data exfiltration, it seems possible that the Pentagon can learn what they're looking at and find a way to mitigate that risk through counter-spying. If you ban all of these drones, then the CIA has no means of ever learning about what the Chinese were even spying on. Second of all, China will continue to spy on the United States long after DJI drones are banned, in my opinion. China can send their citizens across the border with drones that look like American drones, and they could spy on America with, yes, drones that appear to be made in America if they want. There are many different ways that the Chinese government, could spy on us. Even when the DJI drone ban comes into effect. And yes, you could buy all of the DJI drones that are in America if you have to have one. The problem is that you won't have access to future DJI drones, and that's a problem for me. It's like, I own dronethrust.com. Hey, what's up from Vegas? Yeah, and I'm very worried that my drone business is going to see increasing costs tied to the Chinese drone ban and all of the other nonsensical tariffs that the Trump administration is placing. I'm not a fan of tariffs, but I want to stick to the drones for this broadcast. I would like you to email your Congress people and tell them that we want DJI drones brought back until the U.S. government provides us with the equivalent of DJI drones for the same price. It doesn't. I wish that Americans could afford to purchase products that are made in America. The problem is that the labor movement has ballooned the cost of labor to the point where American factories have to overcharge because the workers get paid too much. That's one thing I never liked about Trump. I think tariffs and protectionism are stupid. I wish that Congress would just audit DJI and conduct a study to see if there's any evidence that they ever used these drones to spy on us, because I don't think they ever did. I think that I'm reasonably confident that the Chinese have. I don't claim to be an expert on the Chinese spy apparatus in the United States, and they probably did use drones to spy on military installations, but I doubt that there's any risk in allowing China to sell direct-to-consumer drones in the United States. Perhaps the ban can be negotiated so as to, only prevent DJI from selling industrial drones. DJI have a wide variety of offerings. They sell drones to construction manufacturers that are, meant for construction. Perhaps those types of drones should be outlawed, but, people like, dronethrust.com should be able to purchase, the direct to consumer drones, because it just makes it impossible to, operate a business if you have to overpay for a drone. If drones are your business, as I say, the title of this channel is dronethrust.com. I own that website, and I am livid over the fact that I'm not going to have any access to high end drones that have a lot of, you know, features baked into it. I mean, can you identify an American company that produces a substitute product for the DJI Avata 2? Do American drone companies really make FPV drones that are as safe to fly and as innovative as that which you purchase from China? No. It's ridiculous to say that small business owners like me, or an aspiring small business owner like me. I don't have my 107 license, so I can't sell my drone footage. I plan on doing the 107 license next year, and I am horrified at the ballooning costs that will arise, based on, Donald Trump's idiotic drone ban. I mean, the MAGA people have got to look at the costs that they're inflicting on, the American people with their tariffs and, drone bans. It's, if you're in the photography industry, I know a lot of people who are in the photography industry. And if you're in that industry, I'm sure you've learned that, it's more expensive to purchase like a Sony camera with a good lens, because of the tariffs. The photography industry for the last year, 5 years has been gradually going drifting towards a drone aesthetic. I know professional photographers who recently have acquired drones to do a lot of their shoots, and it's really just terrible that you are not going to be able to, get the type of sprawling shots that you could get with, DJI photo equipment anymore. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. I would really hope that there is a mass political movement in America, like there was with TikTok, to restore DJI products to America. Do you remember when TikTok was supposed to be banned? Yeah, that got undone pretty quickly. TikTok has a lot more users than DJI, however. I mean, you have to be very rich to be able to, afford a DJI drone. Anybody could afford a TikTok account, but, I worry that there's not going to be a groundswell of outrage that forces the Trump administration to restore DJI product selling in America. The answer, one possible solution to this problem, is for Congress to do the audit of DJI. That would solve a lot of problems. If Congress audits DJI, we could then see if it's really that much, of a Chinese spy operation. And I say that much because I'm not naive. I understand the military ambitions of China in terms of competing with the United States. And to tell you the truth, I do think that these drones are used to spy on Americans. But that being said, I'm not sure how much damage the spying does Did you ever go on Google Maps? If the Chinese government wanted to learn about the topography of America, they could easily go on to Google Maps and find where everything is located, from Area 51 to our buildings. Yeah, I mean, if China wanted to uh, find a house in which to keep their spies, they could go to Google Maps and find some obscure house in which they could house their spies. I don't think the best way for China to, learn how to spy on America is to have drones surreptitiously send pictures back to the Communist Party. It seems to me like if China wants to spy on America, the best way is to go on Apple Maps or Google Maps. I Congress never gave an example that had direct proof of how DJI drones uh, are used to spy on America. The theory that Congress offers is that these drones have the potential to do data exfiltration. What data exfiltration is, as I say, if I'm flying this drone in the suburbs of New York City, they think that the drone is going to take a picture of something near New York City that China doesn't have a picture of, and that's going to go straight to the Communist Party. They've probably done that, but I think that they have more efficient means of doing that than hacking into our drones and sending the data overseas. Do I think that it's a risk for Americans to download apps from China? Yes, I think that, the Chinese government probably does use cell phone apps that we download from China to spy on us. The Chinese AI company Deep Sleek doesn't talk about Tiananmen Square. I mean, there's lots of. China is a scary entity. The people in China can't, get on the internet, and there's always a severe crackdown on dissent in China. I would argue that China and Russia are the world's leading, violators of human rights. I'm not a fan of Xi or Putin. I'm much more adversarial towards Putin than Trump is. I'm furious that he's not sending weapons to Ukraine. And China has enabled the Russian invasion of Ukraine. There's plenty of evidence that the Chinese government has supplied Russia with drones that bombard Ukrainian civilian infrastructure and blow it up. I mean, China is guilty of the Uyghur genocide, and I think that they've enabled Putin's genocide in Ukraine. My problem with banning the DJI drones, as I say, is what substitute is there for businesses like dronethrust.com? Yes, I have that website. The page is up. I now have to potentially spend like $2,000 minimum for an American drone. Yes, in order for me to purchase the American equivalent of this, I have got to spend like $2,000. America just does not have a manufacturing capability that can produce, high tech
Fly in well-lit,
drones.
textured environments.
I have seen American drones for sale in Walmart and Best Buy.
Aircraft will power off in 5 seconds.
Yeah, the
Press
DJI
any
drones
aircraft to
and
cancel.
products have all been removed from Walmart and Best Buy, and you can purchase, American drones from, I think, a company called Black Hawk. I've never seen those drones reviewed on the internet, But it does seem to me like there are reports that the American drones just don't have the advanced capability in terms of distance, obstacle avoidance, and reliability that the Chinese drones have. Some customers, I've read that some customers support the China. Some customers who purchase drone services support the Chinese drone bans and say that they're not going to let their drone pilots use DJI drones for security reasons. You know, I I would tend to say that, if you're using a drone to surveil, to take pictures of your house, I don't know why you'd be afraid that the Chinese government is really going to spy on you, unless you're like a Chinese dissident. Um, so yes, because of Donald Trump, we can no longer purchase DJI drones, and I do predict that the DJI drone ban will not be it will not go away as fast as the TikTok ban did. TikTok is a service that's used by millions of Americans. Millions of Americans do not have DJI drones. I mean, this costs like 700 bucks. Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing great. I love to come on YouTube and rant about people I don't like. Um, and if you subscribe to this channel, you're going to find that I don't hold any punches back. If I don't like a policy of the government, I use this channel to complain about it. And yes, one policy that I disagree with from one of many policies I disagree with from the Trump administration is the DJI drone ban. I really believe that Americans should have freedom of drones. I do not think, well, I do believe that the Chinese government does use the drones to spy on Americans. I don't think that I think they're wasting their time. I don't believe that I don't believe that the Chinese government is gaining any significant military advantage from me flying this drone over my house. I believe that most of the fears, attached DJI apparatus in the United States are overblown. Um, yeah, I mean, I realize that there is a lot of controversy attached to Americans purchasing technology from China. I do think that we might be giving them a military edge. But that being said, the American drone industry is divided, I think, between military sales and civilian sales. Uh, 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 the American military is able to purchase drones that they use for their operations. My, my, my the reason why the American military is able to purchase drones from American companies is that the American military has a much uh, bigger budget. Yes, I mean, the American military can afford to purchase drones that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, all the way up to tens of millions of dollars. I'm sure that the American military has drones like this for the soldiers that, instead of costing $700, cost 7,000. I'm sure that American, military drones have also capabilities that exceed this in terms of battery life and range. This is probably just scratching the surface of what you could do in terms of drone technology. My problem, as I say, my problem with the DJI drone ban is that it is tailored towards the direct to consumer market. I don't believe that the the government needs to prevent consumers from purchasing DJI drones because I don't think that the Chinese government will learn that much about the United States, even if they do spy on America with their drones, which they probably do. Um, you, Trump should consider the damages he's doing to a nascent industry of drone photographers. I mean, has Trump ever considered how much it will cost, future drone photographers like me to charge their neighbors to inspect their gutters? I'm a small businessman. I cannot, afford to, purchase a drone for $5,000 and then purchase a $250,000 insurance policy on that drone. I mean, it really makes my, blood boil when I see I own dronethrust.com. I want to be a drone photographer in the future. I want to have I want my website to, be like a big billboard for drone photographers throughout the country. If Donald Trump makes the cost of being a drone photographer, you know, uh, twice or three times, expensive as it already is, then I don't understand how drone photographers, in the future will operate their business profitably. I think that they're going to, have to charge their customers prices that, are unaffordable. You know, one way in which the DJI drone ban could actually be a boon for drone photographers is that it will reduce the supply of drone photographers and make it so that only people who are rich could even get the 107 license. I mean, it will make it a lot more, difficult to find, a drone photographer. And in that sense, you know, it might help me because it decreases competition for me. I mean, most drone photographers don't have a website like I do, dronethrust.com. In order to run a business, you have to have economies of scale. DJI is the most successful drone company, in the world, because they have, an enormous economy of scale. They have a drone for every need. They're in enterprise, FPV, and they're because they have a lot of patents. They dominate the drone industry. America does not have a company similar that produces drones, which is similar to DJI. Does do Apple and Tesla want to start creating drones? I hope that they do. you know, y- I mean, I hope that Donald Trump directs Elon Musk and Apple to start creating drones. For people like me, I think that only Apple and Tesla have the economies of scale needed to needed to sell, people like me the types of drones we need in order to operate our business. Okay, guys, have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for tuning into this broadcast. I've got to get ready for holiday celebrations.